The energy in the Dolby Theater is electric as Hollywood's biggest stars arrive for the 94th Academy Awards. The lights dim, and Amy Schumer, Regina Hall, and Wanda Sykes take the stage, each delivering jokes in their opening monologues that have the A-lister audience chuckling while they're decked out in their elegant and extravagant gowns and tuxes. In the audience sits Will and Jada Pinkett Smith. Jada is a vision of sophistication. She looks regal and elegant in an emerald green gown with a voluminous skirt that must have cost thousands. Her freshly shorn head was held high, her natural beauty taking center stage. She exuded a powerful elegance and a sense of deep pride. Completely bald, yet beautifully adorned, Jada's look was a striking fashion statement. No wigs or coverings, just a woman openly embracing her beauty and style. About 40 minutes in, Chris Rock, looking dapper in his tux, heads to the stage to present the Best Documentary Feature. He spots Jada Pinkett Smith in the audience and says,
"Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it."
The audience has mixed reactions. There's some faint, awkward laughter. Many audience members look visibly uncomfortable, their smiles turning into grimaces. The camera cuts to Will Smith, who laughs and claps along with the joke, taking it in stride. The camera pans to Jada, and she does not look amused. At first, Will remains seated, but soon grows visibly more agitated. He shouts something from his seat at Rock on stage that's muted in the telecast. Within seconds, the Oscar nominee stands up from his seat and strides purposefully towards the stage as Rock speaks. The crowd audibly gasps. As Smith climbs the stage, Rock sees him approach, but seems unsure if it's part of a bit. Then his uneasy smile fades. Will marches right up to Rock and without hesitation, slaps him hard across the face without saying a word, leaving the audience and Rock stunned. After returning to his seat, Will yells for Rock to
keep my wife's name out your mouth.
I'm going to.
There are audible gasps and screams from the audience. A few audience members' mouths hang agape in disbelief. Others have a look of confusion. Others still offer up nervous laughter to the altercation, which lasted about 2 minutes total. And somehow, it was all Jada's fault. What's up? I want to keep this brief because I want to get straight into the video. I've been gone for a very long time. It's actually really funny because before my hiatus, I bought all this stuff. I got a new iMac, I bought a new phone so I could record videos, and then I just didn't make any videos. My mind was just not there. I did not feel confident or mature enough to have the conversations that I wanted to have. And I just hated the sense of regret that I felt after posting every video. Like I sounded like I didn't know what I was talking about. And it didn't matter how much research I did or how much I prepared. I just always felt like that. But I'm at a point right now where my stuff has been on the internet literally for years and I just don't care. I'm aware now that that's just a part of it. And I'm aware that I can always just remove videos where I feel like I'm not representing myself properly. And I have much better ways of gathering data now and gathering my thoughts into something that's more cohesive. So with all that being said, welcome to the resurgence of my channel, which is called Bree the Womanican. I know it's stupid, but I love it. And personally, I think it's very clever. Get it? Like womanican, like I'm a woman, but like also mannequin. You ain't gotta like it. Will Smith faced significant fallout after slapping Chris Rock at the 2022 Oscars. Several of his major upcoming films were put on hold or stalled, including Bad Boys 4, Fast and Loose, and I Am Legend 2. Netflix also paused production on the sequel to Bright after the slap. Apple TV's slave emancipation drama Emancipation still released in 2022, but Will Smith didn't do any interviews or any promoting. of the show. Will voluntarily resigned from the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences shortly after the incident at the Oscars. And as a disciplinary measure, he was banned from attending any Academy events, including the Oscars, for 10 years. Will posted an apology video on social media and remained largely out of public eye post-slap and took time away from many projects. I personally was following Will on a project. I can't remember what it was now, but I was following him on something and all of that just stopped. Several of Will's planned films reportedly struggled to find buyers after the controversy. Some industry experts argue that the slap damaged Will's family-friendly reputation that helped make him a top box office draw. There were endless memes. The slap was even turned into a mural on the Berlin Wall. So while it's unclear whether the fallout will be permanent, it did put his career in limbo. So how does Jada figure into all of this? Well, many people think that she was the reason why Will went up there and did what he did. After the slap, many people blame Jada.
Yesterday, Will Smith resigned from the Academy of Motion Pictures, Arts and Sciences. He wasn't going to, but then Jada gave him that look.
Out of nowhere, he just changed his whole up. So we saw her roll her eyes up in her head, but that ain't what she did. She put a spell on him. She went,
Why the would you do that? She hurt him way more than he hurt me, okay?
So comments ranged from castigating Jada as manipulative, to downplaying the impact of alopecia, specifically on Black women, to perpetuating rumors of marital troubles, all laying blame on Jada. Because why would Will do something like this? So let's do a little Will and Jada history recap. They first met in the 1990s when Jada auditioned for a role on Will's hit TV show, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Although she didn't get the part, they formed a deep friendship. At the time, Will was married to Sheree Zampino, and they had a son, Trey Smith. However, this marriage was short-lived and they divorced in 1995. After his divorce, Will and Jada's relationship blossomed into a romance. They began dating in 1995 and quickly fell in love. In 1997, they got married in a private ceremony in a hotel in Baltimore, Maryland. And Will and Jada have 2 children together, Willow and Jaden. Will rocketed to fame in the 1990s with his TV show, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and blockbuster films like Independence Day and Men in Black. He became one of the most bankable, successful actors in Hollywood based on his talent and merits. Jada Pinkett Smith grew up in Baltimore, Maryland without any industry connections before moving to LA. She started with small TV roles in the 1990s before landing a recurring role on A Different World. She broke through as an actress in films like Set It Off and The Nutty Professor. She launched a music career in the 2000s and had success with a band called Wicked Wisdom. In 2018, she created Red Table Talk, using her celebrity status to make it a hit Facebook watch series. While Jada found her own success, her career never really reached the heights of her husband, who became a A-lister, Hollywood star, and household name. But that didn't stop them from being branded as a Hollywood power couple. Over the duration of their marriage, Will and Jada's relationship has been the subject of many controversies and scandals over the years. Some notable ones being rumors of an open marriage. While they have openly discussed having a unique approach to their marriage, they've denied being in a traditional open marriage. The couple has faced recurring accusations of being involved with Scientology, despite repeatedly denying being Scientologists. There's been lots of criticism over their parenting style. There's been critique of Jaden's gender-fluid clothing choices. There was a Child Protective Services investigation in 2014 where a then 13-year-old Willow Smith was photographed on the bed with a shirtless then 20-year-old Moises Arias. The investigation turned up nothing. And of course, the August Alsina entanglement. In 2020, singer August Alsina claimed to have a years-long romantic relationship with Jada, insinuating that Will had given permission. Jada eventually confessed on her show Red Table Talk that she'd had a brief entanglement with August Alsina during a separation from Will. This fueled rumors that Jada had cheated or was unfaithful, it damaged her reputation and led to criticisms of her marriage. Some accused Jada of being manipulative, of emasculating Will, and of not prioritizing their family. My thoughts are, I don't want to get into the weeds of the situation. I don't want to get into how what's going on in somebody else's marriage is none of somebody else's business. I don't want to get into how these are celebrities. The rules are different for them than they are for regular people who don't have all this access and notoriety and people throwing themselves at them constantly. Whatever they're doing is working for them. They're still together. There are plenty of regular people out here getting divorced. There was definitely an undercurrent of dislike for Jada that existed prior to the Oscar slap. Aside from the August Alsina entanglement incident, there are a few other factors that might have contributed to some pre-existing public dislike or resentment towards Jada. There is overexposure. Some feel that she craves publicity or attention. Jada is very active on social media and very candid about her personal life on Red Table Talk. There's activism that she's participated in. Jada is very outspoken about racism and even suggested that people boycott the Oscars one year. I can't remember what year that was, but I do remember that happening. Women's rights, mental health, and her unapologetic take may rub some the wrong way. There's Will Smith's career. There's a perception that she's damaged Will's reputation or negatively influenced his career choices. There are nepotism claims. Some believe that she's received opportunity because she's Will Smith's wife. There are rumors of her having a diva reputation, her having difficult behavior on sets that may lead some people to think that she's high maintenance. These are all things that likely fueled a negative impression of Jada. The slap backlash tapped into some pre-existing biases about her character and public reputation. Will Smith did eventually speak out, telling people to stop blaming Jada for his actions in slapping Chris Rock at the Oscars. In an Instagram post he made a few months after the incident, he explicitly stated, "Jada had nothing to do with it. I made a choice on my own, from my own experiences, from my history with Chris. Jada had nothing to do with it." So while it took him some time to fully reflect on his behavior, Will did ultimately issue a clear message against unfairly targeting his wife for his own actions at the Oscars. He made it clear that Jada was not at fault and that he alone was responsible. Now, do people believe that? Clearly not everyone. Kudos to Will for calling out the disturbing scapegoating of his wife. But the harsh criticism Jada faced might be caused by a deeper societal issue known as misogynoir. Misogynoir refers to a toxic intersection between racism and sexism that Black women face. This phenomenon has a long history. During slavery, Black women were subject to abuse and forced breeding by their white enslavers. They were seen as less feminine, delicate, and worthy of respect as white women. Early American laws did not recognize assault against Black women as a crime. Black women's autonomy and bodies were not valued. Throughout history, harmful stereotypes have painted Black women as aggressive, hypersexual, domineering, and emasculating. And these tropes influence how people perceive Black women today. Modern media often portrays Black women in very limited roles where they're portrayed as angry and belligerent. Statistics show that Black women are less likely to be protected from violence, workplace discrimination, and seen as victims compared to white women. When people blame Jada for slapping Chris Rock, it likely invoked these long-standing biases. People are more likely to see Black women as provocateurs, not victims. The misogynoir lens presumes Jada played a role in inciting Will's violence, rather than recognizing that she was simply a target of an insensitive joke. Examples of misogynoir can also be seen in treatment of Serena Williams. Throughout her legendary tennis career, Serena has faced constant racist remarks and sexist attacks. She's been subjected to harsher criticism than her white male counterparts, criticized harsher for her confidence and competitive spirit than they have. There were a lot of critiques of Beyoncé for her bold Black empowerment messaging in Lemonade and Black Parade. Even Michelle Obama had to face a lot of these negative stereotypes placed upon her. This whole mess should fall on Will and Will alone. Rather than guess his motives, I feel as though the healthiest response is to condemn the violence and allow him the space to reflect, grow, and make amends. A lot of people have presumed toxic masculinity or some twisted form of chivalry, and I just think that risks oversimplifying the situation. There have been celebrities defending Jada on this point. Notably, Jamila Jamil said, "Multiple things can be true at the same time. Is slapping wrong? Yes. Is mocking a health disability wrong? Yes. Is disrespecting a Black woman about her hair in a country where Black women's hair has been politicized and the source of ridicule for hundreds of years wrong? Yes." If you're only talking about the slap online, it's a bit yikes to me. Chris punched down, Will slapped across. Physical behavior is not the only thing to be examined here. The world politely laughing at a woman who has lost her hair, being ridiculed on a world stage is more damaging than you think. To every person with cancer or alopecia, autoimmune condition that impacts their appearance, etc. watching, tonight shouldn't be the start of hitting people over their jokes, but it should be the end of making fun of people's health issues. Other celebrities that have spoken out against the backlash against Jada Pinkett Smith following the Oscars events are Tiffany Haddish defended Jada, saying, "As a comedian herself, sometimes jokes go too far. She understood Will was protecting his wife." Researchers revealed that Google searches for alopecia increased by 600% following the Oscars slap incident, while Twitter engagement increased by over 5 million %. This is clearly showing that there was an influx in interest in learning about alopecia. Alopecia is a condition that causes hair loss in patches on parts of the scalp and sometimes all over the body. For many women, it can severely impact self-esteem and confidence. In many cultures, including American culture, a woman's hair is tied to perceptions of her femininity, beauty, and worth. Losing hair can make women feel like they're losing their identity or worth in society's eyes. Sudden hair loss is extremely emotionally distressing, and it's often unpredictable and uncontrollable. Many women work hard for styling, caring for, and finding pride in their hair. I know I do. And alopecia can take away from this act of self-care and creativity. Hair loss can lead to feeling unattractive and undesirable. And many women feel anxious about dating, intimacy, or social activities. Depending on the severity, alopecia can be visibly noticeable, making many women feel self-conscious, embarrassed, and worried about appearing in public. Bullying, teasing, or rude questions can compound the emotional pain caused by alopecia. Black women can feel especially impacted due to cultural associations between hair and identity. In 2021, globally, the total hair care market was valued at $87.73 billion. It's projected to grow to $112 billion by 2026. That's in 3 years, y'all. In the US, Black consumers count for 3 times as much hair care spending than other demographics, around $4.2 billion annually. Hair maintenance costs for Black hair are estimated to take up 14% of the average household spending for Black families. In one survey, 21% of Black women said having a bad hair day could ruin their entire day or week. So in financial terms and cultural symbolism, hair represents so much more than a superficial concern. It's intertwined with identity, self-worth, empowerment, and inequality for Black women. Losing that is no small thing. So I also wanted to touch on why no one is really providing any backlash for Chris Rock here. He clearly bullied this woman in front of millions of people. I understand the slap overtaking Chris Rock's bullying here because the slap was violent and physical assault. But nobody is talking about how he embarrassed this woman on a public stage in front of millions of people. What, Brianna? Chris Rock was just teasing Jada and she overreacted. But was it teasing? There are some differences between bullying and good-natured teasing. Bullying intends to hurt, humiliate, or harm the target emotionally or physically. It involves a power imbalance, a bully targeting a vulnerable person. It's often repetitive or part of a sustained pattern of aggressive behavior. It can include physical actions, hurtful words, social exclusion, or spreading rumors, and causes the target to feel threatened, distressed, embarrassed, or unsafe. Now, I can see several things that immediately stand out to me. Specifically, intending to humiliate involves a power imbalance. He was up on stage and had a mic, and she was just sitting in her seat, completely unaware that he was about to make fun of her. Definitely included hurtful words, and definitely caused the target, Jada, to feel embarrassed. Now, teasing. Teasing is generally well-intentioned and not meant to deeply hurt someone. It's often reciprocated back and forth between friends or equals. It pokes light fun in a way that makes all involved laugh. No one laughed. Well, except Will. Focuses on embarrassing but harmless topics. We've already discussed how alopecia can strongly affect someone's mental health. Causes no real emotional distress or sense of being threatened. We've already discussed how alopecia can cause emotional distress. So taking into account the public setting of the Oscars as a massive event with a global audience, the fact that Jada Pinkett Smith's shaved head was due to a medical condition that she openly struggled with, Chris Rock making an insensitive joke about her and G.I. Jane's shaved head, and the power imbalance with Chris Rock as the comedian and Jada as the target of the joke. I would definitely lean towards characterizing this as irresponsible bullying rather than teasing. Making fun of someone's medical condition or their appearance on a global stage at the Oscars, no less. Crossed the line. He used Jada's vulnerability as fodder for laughter, which can rightfully be considered bullying, especially since Jada had been publicly open about her struggles with alopecia. Chris Rock had ample context to avoid making her the brunt of a joke about her hair loss. And a more ethical approach would have been to just err on the side of compassion. And while I can't speak definitively to his intent, comparing Jada to G.I. Jane in such a public way as he did, to me tips the scales from teasing to bullying, based on the objective facts. The backlash against Jada reveals another complex issue at play. This blurred sense of intimacy that fans feel towards stars they don't actually know. This one-sided attachment is what psychologists call a parasocial relationship. Through social media, gossip, and increased access to stars' personal lives, fans can feel a false sense of closeness and intimacy with famous people they don't actually know. This one-sided attachment causes some fans to make assumptions and feel strangely invested in celebrity relationships or interpersonal dynamics despite being outsiders. When celebrities have a public scandal, fans with parasocial bonds may feel an exaggerated sense of betrayal, anger, or right to pass judgment on them. In Jada's case, her openness about her personal struggles may have further blurred the line between fandom and perceived friendship for some followers. I'm not gonna lie, when I first heard about the slap, I blamed Jada too. The whole reason why I even made this video is because for a year, I blamed Jada for the slap. For some reason, I woke up and I was like, why the hell would I do that? She didn't do anything. And I think it's because it seemed like Will was the breadwinner and he's the one that's doing all the work, and what has Jada done besides Red Table Talk and Madagascar? Not to downplay the work that she's done. I'm sure she's done some other stuff that I don't even know about, but that's not even relevant here. But then, like, when I took a step back, I realized, I thought about the fact that these two people are married. They've been together for 20 plus years now, and they know intimate things about each other. And I think the fact that I've personally been in relationships where the guy is like just outwardly doing more than I am or than I was, and I felt like people were judging me for not being as good as him. But they didn't know what our relationship was like. They didn't know what I was bringing to the relationship. And I had to realize it's the same thing with Will and Jada. Are two people that have been together for such a long time. They have kids together. We don't know anything about them than what they show us. But my parasocial relationship with them made me think that I could speak on their relationship. So just to be clear, I'm not trying to pass judgment on anybody if you blame Jada for the Oscar slap. Like I said, I blamed her too. I definitely fell victim to parasocial relationships, definitely fell victim to misogynoir. And the Will Smith Chris Rock Oscar slap will definitely go down as one of the most shocking moments in award show history. But when we look closer at the aftermath, what really stands out to me was the unfair vilification of Jada Pinkett Smith. And despite being a target of an insensitive joke about a medical condition, Jada became the subject of harsh criticism, mockery, and blame after the slap. And this reaction reveals the troubling double standards for women, especially Black women, in society. The willingness to paint Jada as the villain without facts or context definitely exposes the persistent biases in our society against women trying to stand up for themselves. It also spotlights the need for more compassion about conditions like alopecia that affect so many people. And my hope was that by shining a light on the misogynoir and the lack of empathy that Jada endured, we can have thoughtful discussions about dismantling gender and racial bias. No one should face derision for speaking their truth or standing in their power. I think the path forward is clear, and we have to extend understanding and not pass judgment on one another. And I think we need to take a step back before projecting our perceptions into situations where we only see a part. Jada and all women deserve that much. So thanks so much, guys, for watching my video. I really hope you enjoyed what I had to say and that it increased your perspective or taught you something that you didn't know. Please definitely give me a thumbs up if you like this video and want to see more content from me. I will be posting regularly, you betcha. You betcha. So definitely smash that subscribe button, ring the bell so you can get more notifications from me. And let me know, how did you feel about the Oscar slap, like after it happened? Did you blame Jada? You could tell me, it's okay. I told you how I felt. You should tell me how you felt about it. Definitely leave a comment below. How do you feel about it now after it's been like a year and a half? Or whenever you see this in the future, let me know what you thought about that. What do you think about Chris Rock? Can we talk about that? Can we talk about how he handled that whole situation? Let's talk about it. Once again, I really want to thank you for taking the time out to watch my video. I put a lot of work into this video, and to get your feedback is wonderful to hear. I'm so happy that you're here, and I hope to see you on more of my ventures in the future. I will see you next time.